Yes, it's an interesting theme that runs through both of those readings, that sense of, suppose we call it the flesh and the spirit, the now and the afterwards. You hear people say, I'm not here for a long time, I'm here for a good time. That sense that the only point of life is pleasure, doing what I want, when I want, if I want, to whomsoever I want. And the track record of that, of course, is that people find that kind of life eventually very unfulfilling, because there is a specific difference between pleasure and happiness. I remember a song when I was young, which is a long time ago. It said, is that all there is? I did this and did that. Is that all there is? Then I did this and that. Is that all there is? And so there's that sense that it's unfulfilling, this promise that never bears fruit. Pleasure is one thing, and sometimes it leads to happiness, and sometimes it doesn't. Happiness is a different thing altogether. And this is what God promises us, eternal happiness. And I suppose I had an example of that reasonably recently in Timor-Leste, and I visited the Alma community there, which is a little community of sisters, sort of a spin-off from Mother Teresa's sisters, and they work with abandoned children, little children who are very, very disabled from birth. They're abandoned children. They're abandoned, and it's when I first went there, you're kind of overcome with sadness and shock. But then, as I watched and listened and sat down there, I realised that these little children, so disfigured, had this sort of joy. And I remember watching as one little girl was blind, and I thought, this is going to be interesting, because the sister had called them to come somewhere. And I thought, I wonder how this little blind girl is going to get on. But I needn't have worried. As soon as they were called, she just put her hand out and somebody put their shoulder under her hand, and they just led her off, and off they went happily. And these young sisters, living in a very down part of Dili, with nothing much, devoted to these children who've been abandoned, and the joy on their face, and the joy in their life, and that they'd decided that they didn't even want it to be an orphanage. They had among themselves decided that they'd have little families, they'd form little families, and they'd kind of live in separate little areas in their humble home there, and then in the morning they'd come together as different little families, so that it wouldn't be just an orphanage. Just brilliant and beautiful. And you could see it wasn't just happiness, it was a deep joy in the lives of these children and these sisters in the most unlikely and unhelpful secular circumstances. There was nothing there to make you, to give you pleasure. It was sheer joy. And I think that's what the scriptures are teaching us today.